All right, it's Mike. It is week 10. Hope you won some money here in week 10. I did not. Week 10 was tough for me, but you know what? We never stop grinding. I want to thank everyone that is subscribed to the channel. I have almost 15 new subscribers in the last 2 weeks. So, pretty excited about that. And just keep doing these. These are fun. Like talking daily fantasy. Make sure to subscribe. Want to get some comments too during this live stream? Feel free to add some. I'm going to give myself a like. I added to the like. All right, so if people are on here or if you're watching this on a repeat here, I had a tough time in week 10. I thought week 10 was tough to construct lineups. I thought I didn't listen to my gut. I mean, I had a bad week. This is my I just did GPPs. I didn't play cash games. I didn't like the chalk in the cash games, which I'm glad I avoided. I didn't like Duke Johnson. I didn't like Mike Davis. I don't like when these fantasy experts tell you like you have to play Mike Davis or you're dumb. And listen, 99% of the daily fantasy community people are amazing, but I thought there was some unwarranted pressure put on people to play Mike Davis. Mike Davis is not a good running back. And I get he's had some great games filling in for McCaffrey. But this is where we have to get off the numbers and we have to start using common sense. You had a mad Tom Brady in that game, and I'm mad I didn't play Tom Brady. I knew Tom Brady was going to do that yesterday, being a Patriots fan, seeing that. But you could say, well, if Tampa had a lead, there could be a lot of passes thrown to Mike Davis. I just think that you don't have to play anybody. I don't care what the price is. If it's not a good play, don't play him. And I didn't like a lot of the chalk yesterday. Even Antonio Gibson, who I did play in my GPP, but the Cleveland-Houston game was wrecked by the weather. But I really didn't like the chalk. I think Davis was chalk, Bernard, a lot of the chalky guys I didn't like. You know, I didn't love James Robinson, but look at 109 yards rushing. He didn't score. You know, but the price tag of 7,300, he really has to score. So here's what I thought. I wanted to go a little bit different. I knew I was going to get Tua and Shakeem Grant at low ownership. They scored right out of the gate. First touchdown of the game. This game just didn't go the way I thought it would. Now, they put up 29 points, but he threw 2 touchdowns for 6,800 if he throws 3. And 2 go to Grant. You know, pays off. But, I mean, I think Grant for 4,600 getting 12.3. I like that play. This play was good. Keenan Allen. I never play Keenan Allen. It's amazing. And then the one game I play him, it's like McLaren. Never play McLaren. One game I play him. A couple weeks ago, he was terrible. Keenan Allen did not have a game. I'm surprised. Devontae Adams, expensive. Still scored. Still had a chance to score 2 touchdowns. Got hurt in that game. Ebron against, I mean, look at this. 36 points. They're awful against the tight ends, and he doesn't score. It's how it works. Michael Thomas, maybe a reach, but 9% ownership. 27 points, 2 catches. Love my start of the Rams. I had a feeling about this. No running backs. This is a good defense. I'm not surprised at all that the Rams won. I'm not surprised this was low scoring. I didn't play any of those guys in that game. I thought that game had under written all over it. But, you know, so my thought process was Tua, Grant running it back with Allen. You know, maybe in a smaller tournament this would work. Just didn't have the legs. Maybe I overvalued this game with more points. I thought it had a chance to have more points. It just didn't. So that didn't work. I don't mind the plays, though. Gibson, 6,100, scored twice. James Robinson, this is my second stack with Adams. Just didn't work out. MVS would have been the play. I played him in a showdown last week on FanDuel and won some money, but just didn't have the legs there. Winning lineup. Now, this was not $1 million prize yesterday. It was $300,000. Catch up. This was a catch-up game for Josh Allen. They were 2-point underdogs, so makes sense. Stacked it with Diggs and Beasley. Did not run it back. 28-point implied total for the Raiders. No one was on Josh Jacobs. Good play there. Swift, a favorite at home. Chase Claypool, talked about a lot this week, where Cincinnati has a tough time covering that receiver, his position. You know, a lot of chalky. I mean, this is single-digit ownerships, but, I mean, for Allen, Jacobs, Claypool, Beasley, Hunter, you know, that's not off the grid too much. I think on FanDuel, you don't have to get off the grid as much. And then Kamara in the slot, I wonder if he changed his lineup for the 4 o'clock game. Might have late swapped if he did. So that's what happened to me in week 10. Want to get to some of the showdowns for tonight. You know, how are you going to build your showdown lineups? I think, as we saw last night in the Patriots game, you really have to go with volume. Montgomery's going to be out. We know that. Ryan Nall will probably be the favorite. He's priced at $10,000. But listen, Cordell Patterson at $8,000. He's going to see some carries. He's going to see some receptions. I think he's an excellent play. You know, for captain, I think it's pretty obvious. You know, let's build on volume. If we went Cook, you know, I kind of like Justin Jefferson in this. He's going to be low owned. Volume plays. If you think this is going to be a Minnesota win, you like to go the 4-2. I'm going to plug in Patterson here for Chicago. Maybe Jimmy Graham. I mean, look at that. See what one guy can do. If we stick with the volume. You know, maybe Allen Robinson. Line up like that. But that's what I would do for FanDuel. In the salaries don't change regardless of MVP and flex, or in DraftKings they do. So you either want to play running back or quarterback usually. That's the thing to do. So it depends on game script. You know, if you're going to play Cousins in your MVP spot, you have to remember, and this is, I think it's self-explanatory with the single game showdowns. I think it kind of explains it itself. If you're going to play him, then you've got to play pass catchers. Now, Dalvin Cook could still be in play here. You could still do that because he can, you know, then you get everything. But I would be reluctant to go 2 and then 3. You know, crazier things can happen. But he could throw touchdowns to someone down here in a low spot. But, you know, generally, if you're going to play the captain here as a quarterback, you're thinking that he's throwing a lot. And then if you think the game script is, you know, Minnesota is going to score a ton of points, then maybe you go Foles, Cook, and then with some of Foles' pass catchers, you fade Robinson. You probably have to because look what you have remaining. This is really top-heavy tonight. This is where one of these two guys will break the slate. Who has more upside? I mean, I don't know. Miller. Yeah, look at the targets. I mean, he's a deep threat. Mooney, though. Mooney's been a lot of targets, too. So, again, if Foles is your captain, then I think you go with pass catchers here. Maybe you go with 2. Foles, Mooney. Yeah, not Montgomery. He's out. Robinson, and then at $7,500. You know, that looks weird. I mean, Minnesota could still win this game, even though, you know, and these showdowns are a little bit different. Even though this is a 1-4, he could score 3 touchdowns. You don't have defenses in here. Defenses could score 2. So you could get 35 points from Cook and the Minnesota defense, and then still, you know, this could be a 35-28 game where things like that can happen. There's a lot more scenarios here. So, you know, you play it out. I just think that the volume of Cook makes it hard for me to take him out of this spot. It really does. But then it makes it hard to build a lineup. So you got to be right on some of the other guys. Now, Irv Smith is out tonight. So is this a Kyler Rudolph game? Maybe. You know, I would think that at 6,000, he's a pretty good plug and play here. If you want something like that, you know, use the injuries to your advantage. And then Patterson. And then maybe you want to go 3-2 here, meaning 3 for Minnesota, 2 for Chicago. You know, do you go Cousins to try to cover all the touchdowns, or do you go Thielen? You know, I might go here. And then look at, I mean, that's not a bad lineup right there. It's tough. These showdowns are tough. All right, that will do it for this week 10. We'll have some week 11 stuff coming up this week. And as always, thanks for watching.